Hey everyone, my name is Rooster and welcome back to Mechabellum. In today's video, we're going to be playing more Carry Fang. I asked in the last video and it seems like a lot of you like those games, so here we are, I shall deliver. And well, what other specialist to do it with than my favorite, the Elite Specialist, so we have access to those level 2 Fangs. And I basically had the idea to go for Carry Fang on round 1. I start with sabers and I start with triple fang. I can buy 2 more if I want to, and I don't think it's the worst matchup. It's not ideal for sure. I mean, saber is going to take a long time to get through sledgehammers, and hounds are pretty decent into fang by default, but at least I start with some like frontline. And for those of you that haven't played the game for like 2 years, this used to be a very popular comp back when I started playing at kind of the end of 2023. Carry Fang was very popular back then, and even though I don't think it was like an S tier comp, it still saw quite a lot of play even at the high bars. So it always brings me back. And the thing that you would do is you would grab some fangs and you would pair it with a frontliner. Now that could be steel balls, that could be Rhino, and of course the most popular comp would be something like Fortress eventually, but you just needed something in front to tank for a while. So it could be like a steel ball transition into Fortress, or the same with Rhino. Now these days, of course, we've got more tank options available. The sabers didn't exist back then, but they do now, and I'm trying to go for a bit of a similar thing here, where we play sabers as frontline. We will probably start swapping them out for something else eventually, but hopefully they can stay in front of the fangs. Now, they don't do a great job at that by default. I would need to get range on my fangs, but I think once we get there, we should be somewhat fine. And well, we do lose the first round here. Opponent gets my tower, which was kind of expected, but that's the nice thing about being elite spec. You have a ton of hit points, and so you can simply survive even if you have a pretty tough matchup early on. Round number 2, Wraith shows up. My opponent is an aerial specialist, by the way, so he will have that stat bonus. Picks up a Phoenix as well to try and get rid of my sabers faster. And this is definitely a scary, scary thing to show up. Of course, you could have bought a Wraith anyway if you wanted, but yeah, Wraith could be problematic for us to run into, but I'm committed at this stage. I already went 5 fangs, so let's just try and see if we can make a miracle happen. I decide to simply go for a tarantula, same thing again as a frontline unit, and nothing more. I wanted to get range on my fangs, but there was no way to make that happen and still get 2 deployments down. So instead, I decided to just cut my losses, use my deployments, and settle for range next round. However, yeah, this Wraith does simply chew through my entire army, already up to 55 unit kills. And it doesn't seem like round 2 went much better than round 1. I'd say it's worse. And so round 2 goes over to my opponent as well. And now round number 3, we get efficient tech research. I'm not too unhappy about that one. Carry Fang tends to need a lot of techs. And, well, we're probably going to be clicking at least 3 on the Fangs, and then a bunch more on whatever unit we decide to tank. So we grab the range. I decide to start selling out of my sabers, because they're not the most important. And I'm thinking I might want to replace these with some steel balls at some point. We do put a crawler up front here. Reason being is this will distract the Phoenix, and that way the saber lives a little bit longer. We're also going to missile this pack on the right, try to hit the sledge and some of the hounds. I just don't have the deployments right now to contest this, and the amount of tankiness he gets from this, I think it's worth simply missiling for now. I'll be in a better spot as the game goes on, because I'll get more money, and I kind of get money back because I get to buy level 2 units. I just need to get through here without taking too much damage. And yeah, I think that looks great. We take out 2 unit packs, 300 worth of resources. And, well, the Wraith without range, this time around, it looks like it will go down to my Fangs. The only thing I'm really scared of is his Wraith. The Phoenixes aren't that scary to me. I mean, they could be okay damage against whatever tank I use, but they're very, very bad into the Fangs. Opponent does grab a level, though. Yeah, that's the downside of being elite. But speaking of steel balls, which you mentioned earlier, subsidized steel ball shows up. And I'm thinking, well, I mean, I need something right now. So why not just pick that up instead? I have access to level 2 steel balls. I get a bit of a discount. They're low range. They're fast. So they should be fine in terms of being able to get in front of my Fangs and maybe even make sure that the Wraith doesn't kill any of the Fangs whilst also shooting at the steel balls. And so things are starting to shape up here. We can sell one of our units. I decided to sell my Saber because it's kind of useless compared to something like the Tarantula, which at least is pretty decent into the low-level Hounds and Crawlers. And yeah, we decide to move into some level 2 steel balls. We also pick up another Fang pack, and now we're starting to go for some flanks. I see that my opponent has some very, like, greedily positioned crawlers. They're, like, on this quadrant, top left, top right, which can always get pulled if you put something in the deep flank. And if we can just stall the chaff, that will also help out our main board. And with this travel distance, the Fangs should be able to spawn in, and I believe they should even be able to win, as they are level 2. Yeah, that looks completely fine. Now, they don't have mech rage, but they will simply win on the turn they spawn in, which is sometimes a bit of a tough thing to pull off. Steel balls with the mobile beacon managed to get into tower there. Very happy with that, but Wraith has range. Will the Fangs be able to clear it? This does take out an insane number of them with each shot, but I think we should be able to win just about. Not a massive amount of damage, and that is one of the drawbacks of playing a comp like this. You don't deal any damage, even when you do win rounds. Round number 5, Orbital Jav shows up. I think it showed up last round as well, but we didn't pick it up. Advanced Power System. That does look promising. However, I also thought, I'm not sure like how much I'm moving in. This was a tough decision for me, because we're in a headbutt scenario, and that means that the fight basically kind of takes place over here, instead of it really being a race to the tower. Now, my steel balls did race to the tower last round, but normally speaking, he should add like some more sledges, kind of try to stall and prevent that from happening. I decided to go for the Jav, and, well, I positioned greedily. He goes Advanced Power System, and yeah, maybe I should have expected this, because that looks like most of it will get out. Now, Javelin is luckily not the most expensive card, has a short cooldown as well, but yeah, a good play here to try and dodge that spell pickup from me, and, well, he gets potentially a nice card, right? I'm not convinced it's that good, but at least it's good to try and dodge this Javelin. We also pick up Mech Rage as the Fangs. That tends to be the second tech you will always want to pick up. I am running armor-piercing bullets, though, instead of Ignite. Both techs got buffed, but since we were trying to play some carry Fang, I feel like we had to go with armor-piercing. Steel balls will get to tower. We add some to our flank. Of course, making good use out of our subsidized steel ball card that we picked up. And now we're starting to get some decent tower pressure in. And because the flanks are starting to get problematic for him, he will probably need to start adding some units to that flank. And that means that his main board should get a little bit weaker. Look at that. Fang's able to kill the Wraith, even though there weren't too many left, thanks to that debuff. Nice job, steel balls. And round number 6, we get more unit reinforcements. Now, here there are multiple options. We could either go for Farseer, which could be very useful with EMP against the Wraith. And high-level Farseer is honestly quite good into things like sledges as well. We could go Wasp with range and AA to try and contest the Wraith. We could go Rhino as frontline And honestly, even Saber would be fine as frontline here, but it has a pretty high base range, so I prefer, I think, Farseer and Rhino. Wasp is also decent, but it would need 2 techs, and I felt like I just needed more tanky stuff on my board. Just adding more stats, or at least something that could kind of cripple the enemy units like a Farseer made more sense to me than trying to go for Wasp. Especially now with like the aerial spec buff and the 8 guns coming out, Wasp could be problematic, or like hard to pull off. I decided to go for the Rhinos instead, and we go for another flank here, top right. AP gets clicked. Third tech, only 450 for a third tech here, thanks to the efficient tech research. Very nice. And now the fangs are starting to hit quite heavily. 274 currently on the level 3s. I haven't teched any like enhancements yet. I should really grab these tower buffs. Decided to go for some missiles. Beacon the steel ball into his tower. And let's see, what can we do? Opponent here does have the range from the tower. Probably should have gone for that myself on round 6, because, oh my days, look at that. The Wraith are just demolishing my board right now, and while the flanks are getting in, there's just nothing left of my main army. I'd be happy if we can just take out one Wraith at this point, but, oh, the 8 gun just killing my entire pack, it seems, in one volley. Can we take... Okay, we can take out one Wraith at least, saving ourselves 300 hit points, but that'll be basically it, and suddenly we find ourselves at 2.7k hit points. Maybe forcing Fang into Wraith wasn't such a good idea. Round number 7, we get a bunch of items offered. Opponent goes for the enhancement module. I was thinking about the amp core, but didn't really know what to throw it on. I could have put it, I guess, on one of the Rhinos, but felt like just skipping again to get as much money as possible. Amp core would also only be on one unit. Instead, I might want to use my money to try and get the tower attack and defense enhancements for all of my units. Or grab like a tech, like energy absorption, to boost all my steel balls hit points by a little bit more. Runners, by the way, we did give them armor, cheap tech, just get a lot of bonus stats. And at this point, it's all about stats, right? Like, my opponent is mostly using Wraith to do everything. Chaff clear, DPS, all of it. And I was hoping that by stacking more hit points, grabbing more steel balls, indeed going for that energy absorption, we would be able to get a board that would be a little bit harder for the Wraith to kill. Because they're more of a chaff clear unit by heart, and with levels and, of course, attack enhancements, that type of thing, they can carry. But there will be units that even Wraith can't easily kill. So that was the hope here. Steel balls beacon into the tower. Opponent, though, is wary of it and does missile a whole bunch. This time around, it does seem like we've managed to stall a little bit longer, but was that tower debuff a little too late? It's hard to tell. Although, we're doing alright. Yeah, this one Wraith in the middle is a real powerhouse. 300k damage, pretty much. Almost 400 units killed. And I don't have that many fangs left. I'm not entirely convinced we'll be able to take this guy down. We are loaning here. We did take temp range, temp speed. Maybe the advanced power system would have been good after all, because it seems to be like I do go for a bit of a base race. Round number 8, we get the third rotation of units. With Scorpion on offer, I decided to sell. Could have gone for the Sandworm if I want to, and like mech div, but the problem with Sandworm is that whenever it like burrows, opponent units can't shoot it, and they'll have a tendency to start shooting your other units like your fangs, and I really can't have that happen. So I decided to sell instead, and we go for some Farseers. This was the other option that was available. I thought maybe with some tanky boys like the Rhinos we can simply get through, but at this point I thought, well, it really does seem like we need EMP. These Wraith are getting way out of control. And at first I go for Photon Coating, because again, that adds more stats to the board, and the hope was that I could get so much stats on my board that the Wraith would struggle to kill the steel balls quickly. And after like trying out a photon play with triple Farseer, I think I don't have enough money for EMP, and EMP is crucial as well. So let's go for that instead here. We go triple Farseer, we go EMP first. We'll think about that photon next round. And as it turns out, opponent clicks 4th tech with degeneration beam now on the bar. So I'm happy I have the Farseer, but I won't be able to really deal with this unless we immediately EMP all of these guys. He tries to go for the Phantom Rays from the drop, armors them up. Armor isn't that useful against Fangs. It's really useful against Mustang, but Fangs have higher base DPS. So as you can see, they struggle a little bit, but they can get through the same level Phantoms with these techs. And I still have to take the buffs. I was really late this game. Just kind of getting caught up there in teching my units and just buying more and more of them. But I really should remember to take at least the doubled attack enhancement. And honestly, as we're planning to go for photon coating, the double defense enhancement wouldn't hurt either. One Farseer left. Does have that EMP available, and there we go. Oh, saving grace. We turn off the Donut of Doom. And we live another day. Round number 9, electromagnetic impact shows up. I don't pick this because I was like, my opponent is aerial spec, and he probably will photon anyway, especially when seeing electromagnetic impact. He has access to those overlords, unlocks for free, so it would only make sense. No point in trying to overinvest in EMP. And yeah, there we go. The boat with photon comes out. We buy another Farseer. We go for the photon play. This will just add the tankiness once more. Prevents us from getting EMP'd by the spell, which he did pick up. Opponent goes for oil, trying to slow us down. I do decide to pick up some shields here. Not entirely sure what that's for. I mean, maybe I was expecting an oil play. I don't think I was, though. Shielding here, not really necessary. Maybe I didn't think about the photon blocking the EMP. It can be good to add bonus stats, though. Just every second I can buy for my fangs to do their thing could be valuable. But I think here it would have been way better to grab some of the attack and defense enhancements again, and we're just floating money. Oh, well, not floating money, but we're using money in places that are not attack buffs for your army. That's bad behavior there, Mr. Rooster. Level 3 tower on the right side, by the way. Opponent's kind of just giving up on that top flank. Steel balls are getting in, though, and, well, we went for a pretty safe javelin. I didn't want to risk him mobile beaconing out of it again, so we just take that down, and that means we have an open way to the tower. It's only a level 3 tower, so a mere 5 seconds of debuff, but that seems to be plenty, and photon doesn't last forever, so eventually it runs out, and then the EMP Farseers will do their thing. And I have to say the damage on these guys is pretty nasty. I really think that Farseer is still like one of the better units in the game. Just if it gets to do its own thing, man, the value you get from it for a unit that doesn't need text-like range and just has like such a crazy base range, it is very, very powerful. And that's a fantastic round. Sends our opponent down to 1200, so it seems like we've stabilized somewhat. That was a spell turn, of course. Round number 10, I decided to pick up another mobile beacon because it's super cheap. And I think the mobile beacons have been useful to kind of like try and get to those towers. The debuffs have helped a whole bunch too. Opponent goes for a Vulcan now, trying to set on fire that oil that he put down. Again, we're going to use a whole bunch of missiles. I'm targeting the sledgehammers, the hounds. I'm trying to target this crawler pack. Just trying to do everything I can to get some insta-locks to happen. Same thing here. Crawler pack instantly deleted. It's not that my fangs can't kill them, but every second matters in these type of headbutt scenarios. So don't be afraid, especially if it's like round 7, 8, or even higher, to use those missiles, those consumables to help you out and give you that little bit of an edge. Because the fights happen very fast. Round number 10, I decided to pick up some more rhinos. This is a bit of a cheesy play here. Double rhino on the flank. We did pick up quick teleport, so those will get spawned in relatively fast. And, well, I'd be very happy if I managed to get to that tower. It's only level 2, so if you manage to punch it a few times, that's 7 seconds of debuff. Still definitely worth going for. Wobble Beacon on the right as well. That's the benefit of picking up the extra one. And now, let's see, what can we do? And I finally remembered! Look at that! Double attack, double defense enhancement in 1 turn. Expensive, but certainly worth it when we're stacking this much hit points, right? The Photon... Good synergy with all of the hit points that we have. We also have the energy absorption, high-level steel balls. We have the rhinos. The attack is great on the fangs. Right side fangs burning, though. But look at this rhino just going in. And the damage on this guy is very high. Punches the tower a few times. There we go. 5 seconds of debuff achieved. Farseer. I mean, at this point, honestly, they might be the carry. Because it seems like I've run out of fangs. And it's mostly just all of my tanky units and the Farseer doing their thing. And since we keep 1, 2, 3, 4 of them alive and some rhinos, we do manage to close out the game. Scary one. Very scary one. Headbutting aerial spec is honestly never like that good of an idea, because the Wraith is the king of headbutts. But we managed to beat it this time. I think the main problem for my opponent is that he was very invested in the air, with practically nothing on the ground. And that means that his towers are quite vulnerable. And like my steel balls obviously can't shoot up, neither can the rhinos. So they have somewhat of a like free path towards the tower, and we did manage to get a bunch of debuffs. So he probably should have grabbed like a bunch more sledgehammers early on. I don't think it's like easy to salvage at this point in the game, but some more stall, some more sledgehammers kind of in front of the towers vertically could have helped. Aside from that, I mean, Farseer here looking real strong. I maybe should have picked it up earlier. It was doing super well. This was a FANG CARRY game, by the way, before anyone says it was the Farseer. This Fang right here was number 3. This Fang right here was number 1 on damage. This one on the flank was number 2. So we do have number 1, number 2, number 3 top damage are all Fangs. But I will say, I will admit, the Farseer there looked insanely strong in the late rounds. But hey, you can't rely fully on Fangs to carry you even on round 10, right? If you like this video, please leave a thumbs up. Let me know down below what you think of the patch, what you think of Fangs. Have you tried the Ignite buff, the AP buff? Put it down there. If you want to stay up to date on the latest content, please consider subscribing. And if you want to see me play live, check me out on Twitch. With that being said, take care, guys, and see you in the next video. Bye-bye.